Zelda, it's one of the best video gaming franchises ever. And Zelda Breath of the Wild is my top Zelda game on the Nintendo Switch. Now, the Nintendo Switch as a console does have a few different ways to dive into the world of Hyrule. In addition to Breath of the Wild, we have Zelda Link's Awakening, there's a combat-focused Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and we can't forget the classic Zelda, A Link to the Past, available using Nintendo Online. All four of these games take place in Hyrule, so which one will keep you in Hyrule the longest? And by that I mean, how do these games compare when it comes to battery life? That's what this video is about, the battery life of Zelda. This video is sponsored by SkillShare. SkillShare is essentially an online learning community with thousands of classes for creative and curious people. There's classes for photography, film and video, graphic design, animation. Before I started YouTube just over a year ago, I knew pretty much nothing at all about film and video production. And Skillshare is really one of the platforms I use to quickly learn the basics of video editing, the best way to record, the best lighting setups. What's nice is Skillshare is pretty much laser focused on learning. So there's no ads, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creative mind takes you. And all of that is less than $10 a month. If you're interested, there's a link in the description below. The first 1,000 subscribers get a free trial, so give it a test drive. I'm going to be using a Nintendo Switch LITE console for this test, but I will have another video up soon that uses the standard Nintendo Switch. I have all four games set up on the Switch LITE at what I call medium settings. That's brightness set to a medium, sound at medium, and airplane mode always on. Well, because Zelda games don't have much of an online component. With all four consoles at 100%, let's get this test started. Now, before I start, I do expect Link's Past to win, but by how much, I don't know. Link's Awakening remake might be second, and I'm not sure about the loser, but it might be between Breath of the Wild and Hyrule Warriors. 1 hour into the test, Breath of the Wild is at 79%, Link's Awakening at 78%, Hyrule Warriors at 78%, and we have Link to the Past on the Super NES at 88%. 2 hours into the test, Breath of the Wild has 52% left, Link's Awakening is right behind with 51%, and Hyrule Warriors is last with 48%. A Link to the Past has quite the lead here with 73% remaining. 3 hours into the test and Breath of the Wild has 24% left. Link's Awakening now actually is showing a better 27%. Hyrule Warriors is at 19%, and A Link to the Past still has a whopping lead with 59% battery left. The first game to go down, run out of juice. The loser in this test is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It turned off at 3 hours and 49 minutes. On the other hand, Breath of the Wild still had a bit left with 6%. Link's Awakening also has a little bit with 5%. Meanwhile, A Link to the Past still has a lot left to go with 46% battery left. Now, 3 of the 4 games made it to the 4-hour mark on the Switch LITE. Breath of the Wild had about 3% left. Link's Awakening has only 1% left, and A Link to the Past has 43%. About 7 minutes later, Link's Awakening powered off at 4 hours and 7 minutes. While Breath of the Wild is at 1% and A Link to the Past still has 41% left. Breath of the Wild powered off at 4 hours and 12 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, we have one man standing, A Link to the Past still with 40% battery left. And that game went on for quite some time. At 5 hours, there's still 29% battery left. There's 14% battery at 6 hours. And the 1% warning didn't come all the way until 6 hours and 50 minutes. And finally, at 7 hours and 9 minutes, Zelda A Link to the Past powered off. And here's a battery life graph of all 4 games. It kind of gives you a visual and a sense of scale between the games. Now there's things here that I expected. Of course, a game on the Super NES console is gonna last longer, but lasting more than 3 hours longer in some cases, that's a bit of a surprise. And the other surprise, I expected Link's Awakening to do better, but I guess its graphics are more taxing on the Nintendo Switch hardware than I expected. Anyways, those are the results. Let me know what you think. Anything interesting you noticed that I might have missed, leave your comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoy this type of content, and don't forget to subscribe because there's a ton of Nintendo Switch content coming your way.